Welcome back to the broadcast. Our next guest has survived something that most of us could never comprehend. In 2005, Marcus Luttrell's life changed forever when his Navy SEAL team was ambushed in the mountains of Afghanistan. Out of his SEAL team of 4 people, he was the only man to make it out alive. And his story, which was a book, is now the subject of an incredible film called The Lone Survivor. Susie and I are truly honored to welcome Petty Officer First Class Marcus Luttrell. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I'll tell you, Marcus, you know, we've been talking about the film this morning, and it changed both of us in a way that's kind of difficult to explain or difficult to comprehend. Can you share your story with people who may not be familiar with it?
How much time do we have?
Yeah.
Well, you want the abbreviated version?
Abbreviated version.
My story. It's,
You got caught on that mountain with 4 men.
right, okay, yeah, there you go, you know the story. No, basically my team and I went into, on a special reconnaissance sniper overwatch, we went in to eliminate a threat. And long story short, the reconnaissance mission became an intense gunfight. We got walked on by first some goat herders and then by a large militia. And the firefight ensued. 3 hours into the gunfight, I'd lost 3 of my teammates. And then a rescue helicopter with the rest of our QRF came in, and when it went to land, a 12-year-old boy shot it out of the sky with an RPG, and that killed 16 more. So 20 of us went in, 1 made it out. And long story short again, I was rescued by an Afghani village on a whim. I got lucky, and that's why I'm sitting here today, because some Afghanis saved my life, the whole village.
There's so much to the story, Marcus. Can we go back to the part about the goat herders and when you ran into them up in the mountains? That was a pivotal point in this story, and a decision that was made to let them go, to follow the rules of engagement, which were you can't harm them if they're unarmed, right? Made the decision to follow that, as you should, let them go. Was there any time when all of you were on that mountain that you questioned that decision?
Sure. I mean, we talked about it. Obviously, the worst thing you can do is not make a call.
Yeah.
Is not make a decision. That's how people die every day. It doesn't, and not in this job. Just sitting there, idling, just I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit here. That's the worst thing you can do. So whether you make the decision to it's a yes or no, you got to go with it and play it out. And that's how it works in the military. And after the call came out that we were going to release them and then shipped our location, then it was over. No more debating, no more talking about it. It's just done. Yeah. Obviously, you had that got a pit in your stomach, hair stood up on the back of your neck kind of deal. And then when the militia showed up, obviously, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we were right. Oh well. I'd rather take my chances with 80 to 100 Taliban fighting them head to head than take my chances with have made the mistake of killing the wrong people.
That's very interesting. That is really something.
Well, at least I
and
know I
that
can.
really was so pivotal then that you, in risk of your own life, chose to let them live. That is, I just think that is the most amazing thing, and I wonder how many people in the world would make that decision.
Hopefully nobody ever gets into a
Yeah.
pickle like that again. I mean, we weren't the first time this has ever happened to a military unit. It's happened at least 2 times that I know of, I think 3 times, and with the same outcome.
Yeah. Is it difficult for you to hear stories on the news now about the Taliban?
I don't really watch the news because y'all don't know what y'all are talking about.
No, you're right. That is exactly right. We don't know what we're talking
That's
about.
been said a lot with the media, that they're just not telling the story
Yeah,
correctly.
if I want to know what's going on with the war and the enemy, I'll call my teammates
Yeah.
and ask them.
What do you think we get wrong most?
Everything. About war?
Yeah, about the situation over there.
Well, that's the problem, is trying to keep up with it. Everything's so dynamic in combat, especially in these wars. It changes hourly,
Yeah.
Daily, even hourly. So it's one of the, if I'm not over in combat and I'm not fighting right now, then don't ask me for what's going on. I have no idea, especially if I've been out of country more than a month. You just don't, you don't have anything to say. You're like, oh, when I was there back in this time, this is what was going down. But if you're sitting there talking shop and putting out information that's a week old, and you're going to get somebody killed.
Right.
And you can't possibly know, I mean, how long it takes for us to get the information, much less once it flies out to and it gets to here, and then you all put it out, and it's so spun up and diluted or wrong.
Right.
And
Or
don't get me wrong, I mean, y'all
outdated.
get things, I shouldn't have said it like that. I'm not trying to be hurtful or anything. I mean, y'all do great stuff. It's just when it comes to this, I mean, if I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
how the heck are y'all going to know what's going on? You don't.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, like, what do I need to do? I'm like, well, if you really want to know what's going on in the war, grab a rifle and come help. Otherwise, why do you care?
Right.
Just live your life the way you live it, enjoy it, because we got it.
Yeah.
If
Be
you're,
part of
if
it.
you're
Or,
big on watching TV and the news cycles and everything like that, I would say you have to watch every one of them. And then somewhere down the middle is the answer, I guess.
You know what's interesting is that you finished that term in Afghanistan, came back, and then went back to Iraq. What? I mean, was it just something you had to do to go back?
Oh, it was my job, man.
I know
Well,
you still felt like after you survived, after you went through all that, you still signed up and went back. I mean,
a
What is
firefighter
that
doesn't stop being a fireman because he makes a bad fire.
when was that put in you? When you were young? Didn't you have a mentor in your town that
Yes,
kind of
ma'am.
helped you?
I did. And growing up in my family, my mama, she's a good Southern woman. She don't take no slack from anybody, much less two boys. So, and my father, he kind of had his spin on everything, and that's just the way we were raised up.
Just raised up.
Just
raised well.
Let's take a break and come back.
Come back and
Will you
talk
stay
about
with us a little longer?
the
Sure,
movie,
yeah.
The Lone Survivor. More with Marcus Luttrell when we come back.